Hey, sexy. Welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are you? Okay, so I hope you laughed because the rest of this is pretty fucking depressing. Alright, Rick Ross is a very aggressive rapper. He speaks on his life and experiences as a child. I'm not a big fan of Rick Ross, but the song Cross That Line is a song that really speaks to me. I feel a connection whenever I play it. I feel as if someone finally understands. When I was a young boy, my father would pick me up from the bus stop and this song called Cross That Line by Rick Ross featuring Akon would play. He would play it every time that he came to get me from the bus stop, which was ironic because my bus stop was literally right next to a cemetery. The song is about making good life decisions because once you leave this earth, there is no coming back. Life isn't promised, and I had to learn that the hard way. My father's name is Charles Cody Merritt. He was a drug dealer and a business owner. He sold all kinds of drugs, but his main was cocaine. He owned a store called the Corner Store. I messed up. I've done this video 10 times now. You're just gonna hear me mess up. He sold all. I didn't have the best relationship with my father, but I can never say he didn't do his job as a father. He was murdered when I was 7. It took a really bad toll on me because no child wants to see their dad die. When he died, I lost my sense of worth. I thought that him dying was my fault, and for years of my life, I blamed myself for it. I wouldn't let anyone in because they could possibly lead to happiness, and I didn't believe I deserved it. I was separated from my mother and sister. I lived with my grandma, Bernadette, and my sister lived with my grandma Emma, while my mother lived in an apartment in Gary. During the time I lived with my grandmother, I experienced bullying for being overweight and not having a father. She didn't want to. My grandma was a religious woman, so whenever I got depressed, we went straight to church. She didn't want to discuss my emotions because she didn't know how to handle them. When I was 13, I moved back in with my mother and little sister. I never really saw her because she worked so much. At a young age, I had to grow to be the parent my mother couldn't be in order to pay the bills. My mother wasn't a very emotional person, so she resorted to therapy. Hearing someone ask you, "So how do you feel about that?" didn't really help that much either. I tried talking to my mother about how I felt, but she would tell me to just pray. At that time, me and God weren't seeing eye to eye, so that wasn't the best advice. When I was 14, my little sister and I moved in with my grandma Emma because my mother was afraid to leave us in a dangerous neighborhood alone. The longer we stayed there, the more my grandmother became verbally abusive. Living with her is when I began to self harm. I would cut myself so I could feel anything. I passed the point of hurt and sadness. I was completely emotionless and she made it worse. Being called garbage and fat ass every other day over the smallest mistakes really took a bad effect on me. I believed her. I believed all those kids in elementary school. I believed all those kids in middle school. I believed that I needed to be erased, and I wanted to be. She made me feel like my life was meaningless, and she knew she was causing that effect on me. She saw the pain in my eyes and received joy from it. In such a short time, I went from depressed to completely broken. After 6 months had passed, we finally moved back in with my mother for good. After going through all of that, I had forgotten the song my dad would play for me. I never understood what it meant, and at that time I still didn't. When I turned 18, I looked back on my life and realized that I had been through a lot of fucked up shit. I finally hit a point in my life where I had nothing to be upset about, and that's when I realized I was holding in everything since I was 7. Lost, I looked at a picture of my dad and cried. I wish I was with you, repeating out of my mouth as I dropped to my knees. I'm sorry, flowing out of me as if I cut open a fresh wound. I thought about the good times I had with my father, and the song rang through my head like a siren. I played the song on repeat. In the song, Rick Ross states, "Big guns for the other side. Nigga try me, I'm gonna teach his mama homicide." I want to see his mama eyes. I done cried 20 years, now I'm running dry. Which basically means he wants his pain to be shown to everyone. In that moment, I realized my anger. I felt a wave of hate and disgust in my spirit. I wanted all that hurt me dead and those who knew them in agony. I spent 11 years of my life putting all the pain, blood, and tears on my shoulders, and I never got a "Are you okay?" Rick Ross goes on to say, "You would be killers, yeah, this could be, nigga. The last minute of your last breath, I'm the last image right before your last step." Which, in other words, means in an instant, your life can be taken from you. I calmed down. My anger left because even though the song doesn't say it specifically, life is short. I'm holding on to this pain for what? I looked at my dad's picture and it said, "Thank you." Pitchfork states, he indulged in plenty of sacrifice. That definitely says Scarface. He indulged in plenty of Scarface fanfiction, yes, but the florid touches that would make Ross a superstar were a few years away. The album wasn't very popular, and neither was the song. Hell, I almost used YouTube comments because I couldn't find any reviews for the song. I have never heard the whole album myself, but the song Cross That Line has made such a great impact on my life. I learned peace, believe it or not. I learned that I need to let go because me waking up the next day isn't promised. Alright, that's it. See you later, sucker!